Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Dynav class 12.3 Android unit that I installed in my Macan, 2015 Porsche Macan. Specifically, as it relates to the diamond button and the effect it has on the unit. So, say for example, you have this button program to change the behavior of your car. For example, select Sport Plus. What happens is that this button sends a signal to the unit and is hard coded to change the source or the mode of the unit, right? So you will be doing kind of two things at the same time, which is changing your vehicle to Sport Plus, but at the same time having to deal with the source change, which is very undesirable in this type of unit. So I'm going to demonstrate now. When you press the button, you see that it starts changing modes, and it's hard coded, so there's nothing you can do to really change these unless you do what I'm about to show you. All right, so you go to the link I provided in the description below. It's going to get you to this GitHub file repository. You go to releases, and you go to the latest here. And then you download the latest pack here, right? So just click on it, it downloads, and then you basically copy that one to the root of the thumb drive. Thumb drive needs to be formatted to FAT32, right? And then there's another app here that you should install just to verify that the connection to ADB shell is appropriate, right? So I'll show you how to do that. But this is the second link provided in the description below. You go here to releases again, latest, and then you just download by clicking. And then again, you just take that one and put it in the, save it in the root of the thumb drive, right? So you will use traditional method in the unit to install these, and I'll show you how you do that. So what you do is install the two apps that I showed you before. They're already in the USB thumb drive. So I'm going to install those now. I'm going to connect the thumb drive to the USB data port. And now you need to install those two apps independently. You go to USB, and then go to you can install the FytHWOneKey App first. It's done. And then the remote ADB shell. Not sure if you can see that very well. I'm going to show you with a photo. Alright, once it's installed, you press done. So now the two apps are installed. You go back, if you look at the apps, you'll see that you have this new app there, and then you have the other app there, right? So this app is really to make sure that you're connecting to the ADB shell that you need to connect to. Once you confirm that, you don't have to use it again, so you might as well delete it. There are two things that you need to activate, and they are in the developers menu. So you go to settings, and then go here in developers option, and the code is 3368 to get into that menu. So there are two things that you need to activate. First is the USB debugging. I'm going to show you that in a photo in case it doesn't show well in the video. So this needs to be on. So you press it, it's on. It says the following message. So probably you're able to see it there. Okay, press OK. And then also you have to continue scrolling down, and you'll see the default USB configuration, and you need to set that to file transfer if it's not already there, right? With that, then you get out, and now your system should be able to hear the calls for the ADB shell. So to confirm that, let's go to the app I was telling you about before, and yeah, new key pair generated. Okay, fine. And then the IP address that you want to test is 127.0.0.1, and the port is 5555, so that's correct. Hit connect, and we receive that message. That means that the shell is working correctly. If you were to receive a message here saying unable to connect or refuse connection, then something is wrong. You need to continue looking at what you need to do. In my case, this address works and should work for you as well. So with that, let's go out. As I said, you can delete this app later on. Let's go then to the configuration of the other app, which is the FytHWOneKey app. And here you'll see a number of options, right? The first option you need to look into is the ADB setting, because you want to make sure that it connects, right? You have here developer options. This will take you to the developers menu, and then you don't have to put the passcode. It's the same thing, right? So you can do it from here as well. But then you have here the IP address of the unit and the port, and now what's needed is to test the ADB connection, right? So, and here is some help on how you write the commands, and we'll discuss that later. So let's test it. It's gonna say connection failed at the beginning, but I found that's normal. You have to do it 2 times or even 3 times in order for this to connect, right? So now when you see that menu coming down, it means that it's connecting well, right? So now it connects every time, right? So it means that we're okay to go. And now if you look at the different buttons here, this means that this is going to take the signal from the band button. If you were to have a button here, which we don't, right? You press that command, then it will pass through this middleware, which is what we call it, the middleware, and then it will open, in this case, a package, which is a piece of software. In this case, is the radio, right? And this is the action command for the radio, right? So since we don't have a button for the radio, we can delete that and substitute for something else. And as I said, when we don't have any buttons for anything here really, so we can really delete everything, right? And how does this work with the diamond button, right? The diamond button changes the source, in this case the mode, right? And it sends a signal to the unit to change the source. So what we want is to intercept that signal that is sent by the steering wheel when we press the diamond button, and either do nothing by deleting the command or change it to something else. And I'm going to show you both, right? So now if you want this diamond button to do nothing, then what you do is you delete the command, right? And it doesn't matter the call method, just delete the command, and then you delete the command of everything. And what you're telling the system is intercept the command and do nothing, right? And when you press the button now, since it's not going to do anything, the effect is that the diamond button has completely lost any action in the unit. And All right, let me finish here. And so now we're done. So now this is useful because if you are, for example, selecting Sport Plus or any other vehicle command through the MFD using the diamond button, then it doesn't interfere with the unit. So now it doesn't change the source. Now you can use the diamond button to whatever you want in the MFD without having to worry about the unit changing sources, right? So let's try it now. I'm going to take a video on my phone as well, so you can see me pressing the button at the same time. And now I have the configuration of the diamond button to activate Sport Plus, and you'll see that now I will be able to activate Sport Plus, but this will not change. All right, so one important thing is, let me see if I can, right, maybe difficult to capture because it's so wide, so bright, right? But if you can see here, there's a screen that it only comes out once, right? So it tells you, do you want to execute this command that I just sent via the app we just installed or through the radio, which is the first option in the carousel, right? So you tell it, yeah, I want it through the app, and I want that to run always. So now it will not ask you again, right? So let's now run it again. You can see I'm now activating the Sport Plus. Take a look at that one, and take a look at the screen. It's not moving. So now you don't have to worry about changing the source. So if you just want to kill the function of this button in the unit, you just do what I just did, right? However, there are folks that, like me, I used to use this diamond button to skip the track of my songs in my media, go to the next music in my media, right? And fortunately, there's a way to do that as well using the ADB shell key event, right? So I'm going to show you, there's probably about 150 key events that you can program. You can program this diamond button to be play pause, for example. So if you want to play and pause the song, you can do it be a specific event. You can go backwards, you can go forward, you can skip, you can go to previews, you can do many things, right? So in my case, I'm very interested in skipping songs, right? So you can now program that, and let's go to the app to see how that's programmed, right? And you don't have to program it or configure the code in all the options here. You just need to do it in the band and in the mode here, because those are the buttons or the signals that you're sending out when you're pressing the diamond button. And you want to configure the same thing because it sends a different signal, like it sends the carousel signal to go to the next source, and then the next source and the next source. But then this, as I said, intercept a signal and convert it to the skip, right? So what you do then is you go to the configuration of the band button. You want to include band because radio is part of that carousel or selection of sources, right? So you go to call method, and then you go and select by ADB command, right? So now you're going to call the method by ADB command, and then the string that you're going to put here is the following. And you can see that in the, let's go to the ADB settings. You can see here how you write that, right? Shell colon input key event, and in our case the call action is 87, which is the code for skipping music in media. All right, so let's do that. Shell colon input, and the shell colon input is all together, then key event all together. Oops, it's you don't want that. You want key event all together, and then 87. All right, so now that's there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it because I don't want to write it again. I'm just going to paste it to the rest. Right, so you don't have to do anything in DVD, media, or EQ button. You just go to the carousel, move carousel, and then that's what you change. I hope you can see that. I'm going to take a photo just to make sure that I'm showing this clearly. Alright, this is the AV option. This is done. Yeah. And then the video option. Alright, so now everything should be configured. You need to exit the application in order for it to work. And let's try here first in the music. And now I'm going to change the settings here first. Steering wheel operation. I'm going to do the station next, so it doesn't do anything in the PCM or in the multi-function display, because I want then now all the functions to focus on the unit. So now when I press the diamond button, it should change the music. Right, once again you have here, let me see if we can, right, so you have here the options. So you once again select the app and always, right? So now it should change. Right? You can see changing. Alright, now we go to CarPlay and see if that works. I'm going to record with my phone as well, so you can see. Alright, so now when I press the diamond button here, it should change. It's actually changing the music, right? So skipping forward. All right, excellent. So again, this modification really saves the functionality of the diamond button, which was completely lost with this unit. There were a lot of people asking for this, especially to the vendor, but the vendor has been not that supportive. This is a nice workaround. The only complaint about this is that, as you notice, and you're probably making comments about that, whenever I press the diamond button, the CarPlay specifically blinks, right? I have noticed that with one other app that I have. If I go to the apps and go to Torque, which is an app that monitors parameters in my car, it's connected to a dongle in my OBD2 port, and I press the diamond, it it blinks as well, as you see, right? But no other app does that, right? So if I go to let's go here to, I want to go to any map app. So let's go to Chrome here, for example. You see I'm pressing the buttons, nothing happens. And let's go to YouTube, for example, and nothing happens with YouTube, right? So so the only two apps that I noticed is both CarPlay and Torque. And I was I wrote a note to one of the app developers, and he told me that it happened to him as well the first time he finished his development, and he wasn't able to figure out why, but it went away on its own. So now for him it's not blinking. It seems that firmware updates were able to address that, and it seems also that specifically the CarLink application that runs in the background and then CarPlay runs on top, it may not like that whole signal call thing. That's what he told me, and then it makes CarPlay blink like that, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me as much. And actually, if I were to rank the annoyance of pressing the down button and changing the source unwantedly and the blink, I'll take the blink, right? So it's like the annoyance level for the source change was at 100 and the blink is really a 10, right? So I'm fine with it, right? I want to have the option to change the music here when I want, right? So so that's it. This is as I said, a workaround. There may be, and I was reading about another project in which you can actually at the system level convert the signal, and that may avoid the whole blinking thing. And that other project, you can actually assign a short click, a long click, and a double press to different functions, which would be very useful. Like for example, I could program the down button if I press it to skip the music. If I do a double press, then to skip backwards, and if I do a long press, maybe it's a pause and play, right? So it would increase the functionality of the down button significantly. But unfortunately, that project I tested it in my and I can show you here real quick. I tested it in mine and it doesn't work. You have to install an application via LSEC, a configuration file via LSEC. It goes into the system, right? That substitute the steering wheel control, and then you install this app here, and then through this app you see that you have steering wheel controls, right? So the reason it's not working is because when I install the system APK, is not modifying the original system, the ms.apk file. It shows here ms.apk is not modded, and that means that it's having trouble modifying that. I'll put the link in the description so you can see the project. But if you go to steering wheel controls, you can see that any button source that goes to the CanBus, and you have different options there, but for us will be CanBus because we have a CanBus decoder, and because we have that CanBus decoder, everything is hard-coded. Every signal is hard-coded. You have the option, but this middleware at the system level takes that signal, and then you can assign that car button if you want the mode, which is our case with the down button, and you can assign a function, and you can in this case say, well, I want to assign next, and then my long press, I want to assign post play. It should be somewhere here. And then the double press, I want to assign previous, right? And then you can set up things like here, right? So it would be great if we have something like this work. And if anyone is an expert in Android development, I'm not. I sometimes do things, I don't know what I'm doing, and sometimes they work, right? So, but most of the time I don't know what I'm doing here, right? I just try things, right? And hopefully I won't crash the system. But if anyone of my viewers or anyone watching this is an expert and want to take a look at the project, it's in my description below, and further develop it, that would be great. So I'm gonna get this back to where it was because I don't want to mess this up. So that's it. I want to thank you for watching, and subscribe to the channel. Right? Subscribing to the channel really helps us. So please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.